I recently saw the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974. Another one of many great horror movie icons with a unique horror movie story that is one of a kind in the genre and honestly trailblazes the slasher horror film phenomenon, as well as having multiple remakes that failed to adapt this early 70s classic gem and the horror slasher character that started it all when it comes to horror movie villains and slashers. So gather all your friends, collect some skulls, and head to a road trip as we head down to the dirty old south for an intense cult classic in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The movie starts off with, wait a minute, armadillo! The movie starts off with 5 teenagers with attitude, and no, they're not the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but they do experience some road drama as their friend's wheelchair rolls down. And don't worry, that's not the only surprise that's gonna spook you today. They arrive at a Texas cemetery and see one of the characters' grandpa's tombstones, because as they head to their Airbnb in Texas, they stumble upon a hitchhiker who acts kind of odd, so I think they might have some regrets. During their conversation, they also predict the future.
The place where they shoot the cattle in the head with that big air gun thing.
Oh, that gun's no good. But a sledge. See, that was better. They died better that way.
He starts to cut himself and then takes their picture. Great first impression there, dude. After more uncomfortable conversations, our hitchhiker gets berserk, and our main characters manage to kick him out. That's gotta suck for Franklin, the guy in the wheelchair. They were just becoming friends, and then this happened. See? This is exactly why I don't like making friends. I was just gonna betray you one day. They stop at a gas station where it most likely cost less back then.
Would you fill her up, please?
I got no gas.
You're out of gas?
My tank's empty. Transport won't be here until late this afternoon.
Since there's no fuel, the crew leaves the gas station. But I love this vintage 70s Coke machine, but I just got out of rehab, so I can't have any Coke or Pepsi.
And I'm still working on my Coke addiction. My Diet Coke addiction, that is.
Hey, you know where the old Franklin place is? Yeah, it's an old 2-story rock house and it's sitting up on a hill.
You don't want to go fooling around other folks' property. Some folks don't like it. They don't mind showing you.
Oh, my father owns it.
And that's your daddy's place, huh?
This old man sounds pretty fishy. The crew gets directions to the nearest gas station while Franklin questions and blames himself with his friendship with this crazy dude.
Do you think I said something made him mad? What?
Franklin, you're crazier than he was.
They visit an old house that one of their friends' father used to own.
I got to stay here one summer when I was 8 years old, right after my grandmother died.
What happened?
What happened to my grandmother?
Yeah, she died.
They do an iconic classic split up and have your own scenario scene. As we get a full minute and a half of Franklin just chilling outside, and throws a tantrum.
Sir.
I'll get it together.
As Franklin continues to sound like the Pillsbury Doughboy, he starts boiling raspberries as he continues to express his anger.
If I have any more fun today, I don't think I'm going to be able to take it.
What's his deal? It's not like he had a bad experience today or anything. Pam and Jerry go to some creek and swim, where instead they find an old house, so they go inside and search for directions for gas. As Pam chills on the bench, Kirk enters and accidentally falls underneath our beloved horror serial killer icon, Leatherface. Minutes later, as she starts to get worried, Pam starts looking for Kirk as she also enters and falls down. Jesus Christ, why is this house so slippery? She stumbles upon a room that are filled with bones and skull, who I think they're not just only from animals, you know. Also, the camera keeps showing us this room in different camera shots to show us how scary it looks, when it honestly gets kind of annoying later. But it was the 70s, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre was just kicking off the slasher genre, so it was pretty much just showbrazing the genre. She tries to escape when... oh hell no. Leatherface chases after her. He doesn't walk like every serial killer does. He doesn't stay quiet. He does this. No shenanigans, he's not a doll. This is an adult human man running after you with a freaking chainsaw with a scary Stitch staple mask and a boyfriend who probably died by him, knowing that you're probably going to be next. Leatherface grabs poor old Pam and kills her in the most painful and slow way possible at the time. It really sucks to be her, you know. She sees Leatherface dismembering her boyfriend with his iconic chainsaw as she screams in panic. Back to our other three, Franklin is still worried about our crazy Texan friend.
You worry too much.
He couldn't find us anyway. I mean, he doesn't even know our names.
I gave him your name, Franklin. I told him where you live. I even gave him your zip code. He's gonna kill you.
Jerry.
They have a long scene talking about him, but it honestly isn't boring. These characters and taking up time talking didn't really bother me, honestly. As Jerry leaves to go look for Pam and Kirk at the creek before it gets dark, Frank and Sally have another conversation with the camera staying still for another minute and a half.
Sally?
What now?
Jerry finds the house that Pam and Kirk were killed in. He goes inside, but surprisingly doesn't slip like the other two did. But he walks into the skeleton room and finds Pam. I don't know how this works, but I didn't want to question it. I'm sure Leatherface and other iconic serial killers have a blast playing around with their victims' bodies at the end of every scene. Franklin and Sally debate over another several minutes about looking for the others, and I really love Sally's courage.
Franklin's give me that flashlight!
No, I got take flashlight. All right, all right.
Go look for him!
All right, I'll go with you. I'll go with you.
And after several minutes, they finally go with a pissed off Sally worried about her friend. And after 2 minutes of walking around the grassland, she probably found her answer on why they disappeared and why Franklin is scared of going outside.
Sally, I hear something. Stop. Stop.
Holy crap, that jump scare was terrifying. Our wheelchair friend Franklin sadly dies as Sally runs away in horror. And Jesus Christ, it's just madness in the scene. After running away with terror from a crazy man with a chainsaw and a gross-looking human skin mask, she enters the house her friends were killed in. Also, Leatherface, I don't know why you're cutting the door to your own house. You know it just opens by itself. Sally goes deeper into the house and finds an old man dying along with his dead corpse wife. Aw, it's true love. When Sally gets caught by Leatherface, she immediately jumps off a freaking window, and I don't question her last-second decision. I probably would have ran, hide, and died. She continues this crazy chase for about 2 minutes as you feel for Sally's horrifying screams and shriek of fear. She continues to run away for more madness at night until she runs all the way back to the gas station to finally get help. And yes, this is the gas station from early on in the film, as she tries to speak, but she's understandably hyperventilating. The man goes to get help, but where's Leatherface and his chainsaw? After several minutes of waiting for the gas man, he finally arrives, but it's sadly a trap as he comes back with a human sack. As she panics, her rebel instincts kick in as her thinking skills are on the freaking point.
Not out.
What do you want?
Kick his ass, Sally, you got this. Unfortunately, the man beats her up with a broom, which can possibly outbeat a knife since it's longer and harder. The man beats Sally with the broom after poor Sally just finished getting chased and seeing her friends die and jump out of a 2-story window. Now she has to deal with this? She gets up being tied and abducted as they head back to the home Leatherface lives in, while the gas man harasses her with the stick of doom. The gas man arrives home and meets the crazy guy from the beginning of this movie, and I think they know each other.
Where are you been? I've been out on the road. You damn fool, you almost got caught over a date.
It turns out they're a family, and I think there's a reason the gas man is so mad.
Told you never leave your brother alone, you... Get in there and get that girl out of the car.
Oh, okay. Good story there.
Look what your brother did to that dog.
As they enter the house, the gas man, who's Leatherface's crazy father, scolds him.
You damn fool! You ruined the door!
And the other crazy brother prepares Sally for dinner. This must have been a shockingly scary, horrific surprise for her.
I thought you was in a hurry.
Leatherface's dad is still watching him, and I love Leatherface's personality. He acts like a child when he's supervised by his family, but a monster when nobody's taking care of him.
Where are the kids? Where are they? Show me! None of them get away? Are you sure?
I mean, can you blame him? They just broke and entered a Texan man's house. Be thankful he didn't got you with a shotgun, you know. The two crazy cannibal brothers go upstairs to get their grandpa for dinner. I love how even though the grandpa is too still and fragile to move, they still love and care for him. But this scenario has to suck for Sally. No pun intended. And oh god, I wouldn't want this creepy old unmovable geezer sucking on my finger. And not even my toes, no matter how much he paid me. But seriously though, poor f***ing Sally for going through this scenario, because as Sally faints, she wakes up with this lunatic crazy Texan family eating dinner as she's forced to stay and be their guest of honor. And I'm sorry, but I have to buy this face lamp. This looks fucking awesome. I need to buy this for my room. Also, I feel bad for Sally, but I love what an asshole this crazy older brother can be.
You can make him stop. No shit.
As she screams and panics for a minute straight, the father gets annoyed and he wants her killed for dinner, so the brothers get their grandpa to help do the honors. It's odd because although she gets untied, she should have kicked him in the balls and ran away. Her body is probably filled with adrenaline from all this chaotic scenes. As they set her up, the grandpa is having trouble holding his mallet. He should have probably learned to firmly grasp it. As Sally is going through this horrific torture, she manages to finally escape. As she jumps out another window, not giving a crap but just trying to survive. Thank goodness she escaped, but wait a minute. How is it barely early morning? Did this entire event happen overnight? If so, why are they having dinner so late? Or early? Or is this breakfast? Breakfast? Dinner? Dinnerexus? I don't know. I was enjoying this movie, but this scene made me ask questions. Damn you time, you existable bitch. As Sally's adrenaline and fear shakes off the pain, she runs away with what small amount of energy she has from this horrible, terrible night. The two brothers aren't too far from her because they start chasing her as the oldest is maniacally cutting her in the back. Meaning Sally is screwed at this point, as her terror grows more and more, and the sad part is that the oldest brother actually catches her as she's too hurt and tired to run. But miraculously, a truck appears and sees the attack happening. As Sally instinctively gets out of the way, the trucker hits the oldest brother. Also, not sure if that was an accident or on purpose since he was honking the horn, but either way, it got the job done. As Sally witnessed another death in front of her eyes, she runs to her savior, which is this guy. Unfortunately, his cool, high-paying job isn't going to pay him enough for this, because Leatherface is pissed that his brother died. I mean, how do you think Sally feels? Instead of driving away though, they leap out of the car, as he doesn't want that active chainsaw anywhere near him. But also, why isn't this chainsaw going through anything in seconds? Did Leatherface get ripped off at Home Depot, or is there different types of chainsaws? If you're an expert on chainsaws, let me know. As the two are running away, our trucker hero hits Leatherface with a wrench, as he hurts himself with his own weapon. You can hear him shouting in his own regular adult voice compared to his childlike shenanigans back at home. Also, I'm honestly happy the trucker managed to do this, as I was really worried they were just going to run for another 2 minutes and get chased to their doom and death. As they take advantage of an injured Leatherface, who's been wearing a new mask since dinner, don't think I haven't noticed there, it looks lovely. A car drives by all this chaos and madness, and as a driver, I would have been like, oh hell no. I honestly don't know what the fuck's going on, but I'm not stopping for this, I gotta go to work. But thankfully, our driver stops for a bloody shouting woman, and oh, what the hell? No! Aw, what happened to the trucker? He just runs off and didn't get in. What? Aw, I hope he survives. He helped the most in this movie in just seconds. But the movie continues to make him run away from his truck and his cool high-paying job. I mean, seriously, do you know how much truck drivers make? We have Sally getting on the pickup truck as the suspense rises as Leatherface runs towards her. And this was another close-ass death experience. The movie finally ends with Leatherface swinging his chainsaw in anger that she escaped, as our hero Sally is hysterically laughing in madness as she's happy that she escaped this massacre of a night, as this nightmare has traumatized her forever, possibly ruining and corrupting her mental health. And that was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Okay, wow. I was very surprised that a film made in 1974 can scare me. And it's not about pop-outs or jump scares. It's about the terrifying experience our main characters go through. And you honestly gotta ask yourself, what would you do in a situation like this? When clearly running away is your only option, since there's literally no escape. For starters, this film has an excellent startup with its story, with a pretty decent pace that's simple and to the point. You'll have a terrific time with this plotline of an early 70s horror film, along with its intriguing setting and an amazing cast of characters that are enjoyable to watch on screen, even if it's just them casually talking. And that's rare to find in characters, you know, as you don't expect to get entertained as they talk at all. I enjoy watching the first last-person live girl, as she made me feel terror from her horrifying night. It makes you feel sorry for her mishaps and the suspense of getting caught. But that's how excellent this film succeeds in actually making the audience feel for our surviving victim. And of course, we have to thank the first official slasher in horror history, Leatherface himself. With such a unique and original storyline, this crazy cannibal Texan family popularized horror movies with slasher villains. As their youngest son Leatherface stole our hearts with his hellish creepy skid mask, a hobby for dismembering human corpses, cannibalism, chases, shouts, and kills with his iconic chainsaw, and a trailblazing, original, unique early 70s horror film is what makes any viewer enjoy this classic. So with all that said out of the way, I'm gonna give Texas Chainsaw Massacre 9 bloody, tired, injured, traumatized First Lady of horror movie survivals out of 10. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre will entertain your guts out with its amazing storyline and characters. You'll enjoy how some scenes might entertain you more than future horror films, but that's just because it was that entertaining to watch. Even if there's a ton of scenes that are way too overshot, or just simple conversations and long talks, these chats aren't honestly too boring, and the overfilming, well, it was just the beginning of slashers, to be honest, so they didn't know what did work and didn't work. But this horror slasher icon certainly did work. But as usual, thank you so much for watching. Is anybody from my subscribers from any part of Texas? Let me know what you think about this film taking place in your home state, as you must feel pretty lucky to live in Texas. As usual, thank you so much for watching. Till next time, have a good day, stay safe, and most importantly, stay tuned. Bye!
This is the movie that Rex Reed called the most horrifying motion picture I have ever seen.
Sally, I hear something. Stop! Stop!
This is the movie Rex Reed called the most horrifying motion picture I have ever seen. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre from New Line Cinema.